Okay, so we're in the sugya of miyan. We discussed yesterday that a katana that's kedusha derabanan. It could be one of two ways: a father died, a mother and a brother married her off, or she was married off by a father kedusha deraisa, got divorced, or an almana, and now she married herself off. She's out of her father's jurisdiction. That's called the yisraim b'chaya av. Who's considered a katana? What's the parameters of this din? Says the Mishnah on Daf Kuf Zayin Amid Beis. Ezeu katana shetzrich l'moyin. Who's a katana that needs to do miyan? Kol shehisua ima v'achia l'daita. If they married her off l'daita, hisiu shaloi l'daita. If they married her shaloi l'daita, Kuf Zayin. Hisiu shaloi l'daita. If they married her off against her will, ain't it tzricha? Then she doesn't have to do miyan. Ain't it tzarich l'moyin? She doesn't have to do miyan.
She's off.
Yeah. Rabbi Chanina ben Atigdus Leimer. She's not able to watch the kedushin, the kesef kedushin, the star kedushin. She doesn't have to do miyan. Rabbi Eliezer, ein ma'aser katana klum, elikim mefuta bas Yisrael l'kayin, v'seichel b'truma, bas kayin Yisrael toichel b'truma. He says a very interesting thing. He says that Lin Kedushin, it's true that she is Mikudeshes Drabanan, but that doesn't mean she's still Katana L'chalapachas to every other halacha. So, for example, if she was a Bas Yisrael married to a Kayin, she wouldn't need Truma. If she's a Bas Kayin married to a Yisrael, she would not lose her right to eat the Truma. So, there's only in this din of Hefka, we don't want to be mafka this girl, that we say this din. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, Kol HaKavashim and Ish Kilu Hishtoi. Any stoppage that's a result of the father, it's like the husband, it's his wife, as the Gemara will describe this. And Kol HaKavashim and Isha Kilu Ein Ishta. So I'm gonna. So the Rambam in Perik Dalid from Hilchas Ishas Halacha Zayin. It says cotton shekidish ain't kedusha of kedushin. A male cotton that does kedushin is not kedushin. A gadol shekidish as a katana, a gadol that's mekadosh a katana hayisoima, a katana shiyotzim mishus av. Those are the two variables, the two possibilities. Either she's yisoima, her father died, or she was yotzim mishus av. Her father married her off, she got divorced or what, and she now no longer has jurisdiction. Even if she's what she's intelligent. Ain't kan shame kedushin. By no matter despite whatever level she has, there's no kedushin. The eina tzrich lemoyin. She doesn't have to do miyan. However, v'imhoisa if she was v'imhoisa bibas esa ulamayla. I think I left out a word. If she's less than 6, no matter what level she has of understanding, if she's more than 10, no matter what level she has of not understanding, she's mekudeshes. So under 6, no matter how smart not, over 10, no matter how dumb. The shaila is between 6 and 10. Now, in the middle of from 6 to 10, we check her level of discerning understanding. If she understands the whole Indian of nisuin v'kedushin, then tzrich l'moyin. So again, less than 6, no matter how intelligent, more than 10, no matter how unintelligent, between 6 and 10, it depends on intelligence. The Rambam gets this from somewhere, we'll see. But that is the gather of the framework of timeline where miyan could apply to a katana. So just saying the word katana is not enough. It's not every katana. A 3-year-old, for sure not 4-year-old. Less than 6, no way, nothing. More than 10, yes, anyway. Between 6 and 10, depending on the Lashon of Rambam, the Lashon of Yofi, the Loifi Taita. Okay. I'm Rabbi Yehuda, Bimila Masis and Tana. But Rishoina initially, how you kaisvin get miyun, they would write a get miyun. Now, the get miyun, as we said yesterday, fellas, is not what facilitates the ending of the relationship. It's her refusal of the relationship. By a get gerishin, it's the get that affects the creases from the husband. But over here, this is simply a receipt, a proof that she's no longer attached to anybody. That's really what it is. So get me in, it's written, they used to write, Loi Re'ino Bey, I don't want him, I don't want him, like Savina Bey, I don't desire him, Loi Ana Boyalis, not really, I don't want to be married to him. They write a long, that's a pretty long lesson of saying, I don't want Kivin, the Chazi, the Nafish, the Bura, since they saw they had too much words, Amri, Asi lachlufe begita. They may come to go ahead and mix this up in a get. Says Rashi, top Rashi, sheyichtavu seifer bur, a seifer that's a bur, that is an amaretz. The get gerishin legarish ba'isha. He may go ahead right and put more in the get than you're supposed to. So to avoid the mixing up of the text of a get mion and increasing the get of gerishin, which we don't want to increase, right? They what do? So the kino hachi. This is what a get of mion would state. B'yoyim pliny, mina ploinus bas pliny, on day so and so, the plonus bas plony. What did she do? Ban pana, she refused ban pana in front of us. That's all it said. Very simply, nothing. I don't want him. I don't need him. He doesn't pay the bills. None of that. Just simply what? Just simply, I so and so on this day, so and so in front of so and so have gone ahead and refused the marriage. It's just again, it's the receipt. It's simply a receipt. Says the Kuf Chesam and Aleph Shimon 3 lines down. Tanu Rabbanan. Kuf Chesam and Tanu Rabbanan. Ezel Mion. What's the explosion of Mion? In other words, Omra Efshi b'Ploini Baili. I don't want Ploini Baili. Or Efshi b'Kedushin Shekedish Tuni. Or I don't want the Kedushin that they were Mekadosh. He was Mekadosh. They were Mekadosh me. Imi v'Yachi. I don't want the Kedushin that Imi v'Yachi, that my mother or brother was Mekadosh me. That's classic Mion. Yeser al Kain. We're going to have four statements. Each one's going to be Mion, and each one's going to be a bigger Chiddush than the next. Anytime it says Yeser al Kain, it means there's a bigger Chiddush. So anytime it says Yeser al Kain, there's a bigger Chiddush. So what's the bigger Chiddush over here? Amar Yehuda, Filu Yoisheves Piryoim. She's sitting in the the Cleopatra collar wagon. They're being carried by people to the chuppah. They're with this in Piryoim. She's going from daddy's house to what to. So in other words, remember the kedushin took place and they would wait to the nesuin. So she's on the way to the wedding. And why does she say v'amra efshi beploini baili? I don't want this guy. Zeumion. Now, what's the Yesr al Kain over here? Because if she didn't want him, just get off the thing. What are you saying? Anything? Just get off. Get off the taxi. Get out. They should have simply gone ahead and gotten out, but she didn't. So that's the Yesr al Kain. Despite the fact she's on the way to the wedding, the dibur itself, it's counterintuitive, right? Here she's going to the wedding. She goes, I don't want to go. Nonetheless, we'll say that's Mion. Yesr al Kain. Amar Rabbi Yehuda afilu haya archim mesubim beis baila. Even if they guess there, she stands up and she's giving them to drink for Amalahem. That's also miyan, and the chiddush is that no one said anything. Rashi says the archim. What's the chiddush? Yes, the Kain of archim, says Rashi. The leka besdin. The leka bezdin, you don't have a bezdin. That's one. Visu, the hani mishtik shaski v'loy kamadoi. They were quiet, didn't say anything. That's the chiddush over there.
There's no bezdin on the first.
I don't know. It doesn't say anything. It doesn't say. Maybe it has to be 3 people over here. Maybe I don't know. Anyway, the next case. Yesr al Kain, even more than that, is what she says. Amar Rabbi Yosi, Rabbi Yehuda. We have a different gear. So Amar Rabbi Yehuda. I feel shigra baila etzel chenvani lehevi lachef. It's the husband sends her to go to the store to get something. Mishaloi. But Amra efshi beploini baili. I don't want anything to do with him. Ein lechami and godlu misu. There's not. Now you'd say, what's the chiddush over here? Because you would think maybe she really wants to stay married to him. She's just upset that he made her go to the store to buy something. Kamash malon that it's mian. All these is the lashon of mian. She's got what? Between 6 and, according to Rambam, between 6 and 10. According to Rambam, between 6 and 10, or more than 10.
More than 10, she can do this too.
Yeah. Up till 12 in a day. Up to 12 in a day. Rabbi Chanina ben Antignos, kol tinoikis, any tinoikis that can't watch kedushin, she doesn't have to do miyim, because if she can't watch the kedushin, then the kedushin is not a kedushin. In other words, if you can't watch the kedushin is not a kedushin. That's so bad.
Does this have to do with age or?
the Rambam mentioned the number about ability,
Hmm?
skill.
What do you mean?
But the Rambam said that under 6, no, but here the Congress is saying
I guess I don't know. It could be the halacha is not like this. The halacha is not like this. I mean, it is. It's called like this. When is this quote in the Rambam? Gimel. It's part. It's yeah. It's there. It's the same. That's the same thing. Same halacha. That's the same halacha. I guess they said that's the age. Maybe she could watch it. Maybe over 6 she could watch it. Anyway. So Reb Chanina, Amar Reb Yehuda Mishmol, halacha Rabbi Chanina ben Atignis. So halacha is like Reb Chanina ben Atignis. Tana katana shlei miyana, a katana she didn't do miyan. But you know what she did? Bamda Venisa, so she went be medai. She had nisuin. She went and lived with another man. No, she didn't verbally go ahead and say anything, but her actions kind of say, yeah, right. Actions speak louder than words. In this case, she goes and lives with another man. Right? Mishum Rabbi Yehuda Meseira Amru. In the name of Rabbi Yehuda Meseira, they say, Nisueha hein miuneha. Hanisuin is hamion. In other words, ein miuna gadol mizu. By the fact, again, guys, what's miun? Miun is refuse. I'm refusing. I don't want to live with you anymore. So if your actions say I don't want to live with you anymore, that does the job. This is the statement of Rabbi Yehuda Meseira. That if you would say that, okay, now. Iboilahu, niskatsha mahu. Notice the lashon. It's the miyun if she lived with another man. What happens if she just accepted kedushin via the other man but didn't verbally say anything? Would that be considered what? Leaving the marriage? So tashma ketana shlei miyun of omda v'niskatsha. She stood up and she accepted kedushin from another man. Mishum Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira Amru kedusheha hein miuneha. A kedushin what is her miyun? Kedushin is a mean. So in other words, that would be acceptable. Iboilahu. Pligi Rabbana led Rabbi Yehuda Beseira Eloi. The Chachamim, do they argue? Now, do they argue? And if they argue, do they argue by Kedushin or even by Nesuin? Imtim Sleiman Pligi be Kedushin or Yafila bin Nesuin. Imtim Sleiman Pligi Yafila bin Nesuin, that the Nesuin would not be considered Miyun. Halacha Kamaisai is halacha like him. Ayen halacha Kamaisai. That's after Besuin, because again, that's a big refusal by living with another man. Okay, so now we know the following, fellas. We know that Rabbi Yehuda Meseira said whether it's Nesuin, even just Kedushin, will do the job, it'll be an equivalent of a mian. The Chum disagreed. To what extent did they? A, did they disagree at all? B, if they do disagree, that they disagree across the board, or maybe they only disagree by Kedushin, but by Nesuin, they would be Maida. Tashma Amar Yehuda Mishmol Allah Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, meaning halacha mechal de pligi, right? Mechal de pligi. Now, nakati tivoilach. I still have one part of the shaila. The having the sivna meikara, idilma mekatsha. Was she living with another man, or she accepted kedushin from another man? In other words, she's leaving him. Is she leaving him from Nesuin or from Kedushin? Maybe, maybe Nesuin, right? Maybe Nesuin to go ahead, and it's not enough to accept Kedushin from another man. Tashma, the Kalase de Avdon, the Kalas of Avdon Imrud. Now we met Avdon, guys. He was the one who made fun of Rabbi Shmuel of Yosi on Daf Kufhei. And what happened? He said that his sons died, and his 2 daughter-in-laws did miyun. So this we're picking it up over here. So Imrod, his 2 daughter-in-laws, they rebelled. They refused to have tashmish according to the Meiri with their husbands. So Shadi Reb Zuzi the Rabbanon, Shadi Rebbe Zugi the Rabbanon. Rebbe sends Zugi the Rabbanon a pair of Rabbanon, lemid the kinu, to go ahead and to check him out. To check him out that what if they really rebelled, if that's me or not. So Amruluhu Nashe said the woman to the 2 girls. Your husband's not coming. They didn't realize it's 2 shluchim my best. Then they said your husband's not coming. So Amri Lahu, the 2 girls, said to these women, Nahavi Gavraichu Ditchu. They should be your husbands. Meaning, so I'm a Rebbe ein l'chami and gadol mizeh. There's no miyah more than this. My love the having the sivna that there were mamish, there was nesuin. So you see that right? It's miyun. Loi davi mikacha kedushin. Allah Rabbi Yehuda Meseira Vatfil ben Nesuin de Kama. Allah is like Rabbi Yehuda Meseira and even ben Nesuin de Kama. Even if she was married to the first husband, guys, if she goes ahead and lives with another man, she goes ahead and accepts kedushin from another man. Even if she's coming from the Suin, it's miyun.
Here, they did say something. As I said, maybe your husband's.
Yeah.
So they didn't
No,
say,
we want to bring a raya. This din of not saying the lashon is only from kedushin and nesuin. So they said it, but again, the havamina it's from nesuin, which is what we want to know. And the answer is the other raya. It could be only from kedushin. But they pass in halacha again. Again, it makes a lot of sense. In other words, it's not. You just need a refusal. If the refusal takes place in any shape or form, we're saying basically it's okay. That's a refusal. So just there's no real kedushin here. There's no real kedushin. I feel truth. Okay. Says the Gemara. Now, Rabbi Eliezer said, Rabbi Eliezer said, "Ma'aseh katana klum." She's like a mafuta, bas Yisrael, lekoyin, so on and so forth. Omar Rav Yehuda Meshmuel. Chuzrani akol tzadi chachamim. Across the board, there's no one that treats her as a katana and not an isha concerning a katana. You're a katana in this, not a katana in that. You're telling me that she's not a katana vis-a-vis what? Kedushin, but she's a katana everything else. Rebbe Elazar, he's the only one who went ahead and the most that treated her like a katana was Rebbe Elazar or Rebbe Eliezer. Shasa Rebbe Eliezer commit highlis imay b'chatzer. Eliezer made her she walks around with the chatzer. I guess that's something man and wife used to do, either here or Marine Park. V'aymedes mechekoi, and she goes and lives with him. She has relations with him. B'tayvelas, after the relation, she goes to the mikvah. V'aychelis b'truma le'erev, and she eats truma in the evening. Meaning, if she's a bas kohen, she still eats truma despite the fact being married to Yisrael. And normally, if you're married to Yisrael, you don't eat. So mamish made her like a katana, right? Even though she was in kedushin, you're saying that she's not a katana, but everything else, Rebbe Eliezer says she is. Tanya Rebbe Eliezer Omer, ein ma'aseh katana klum. There's nothing. Ve'ein bala zakai. A husband is not zaycha. Lo b'mitziasa. Usually, the wife finds something, the husband gets it. Not in this case. Usually, what the earnings of the woman makes, the husband gets it. Not in this case. The ability to make for a neder. Not in this case. He does not inherit her. He is not metamet to her. If he's a kohen, she's mamish, not an isha, but she needs miyan. Mamish not an isha, needs miyan. That's Rebbe Eliezer. Rabbi Yeshua Omer, Baila Zakai Mitziasa. She does get the mitzias through the halacha. Rashi says, guys, of hefker best and hefker. In other words, if she's not really married, normal mechanics. The normal.
And he forced the guy's not able to come back out. And he was in a big good pitch.
The normal mechanics, which goes ahead and affords the husband to get the wife's mitzvah, doesn't apply in this case because there's no kedushin. So how does it work? Bezdin has the capacity to be mafker something and give it to whoever they want. We bought psukim for that by Ezra. They didn't come to whoever didn't come. So therefore, that's the source, right? So that's the way we work over here. We work out. This is Rabbi Yeshua's opinion. Why you be zoichet to mitzvah despite the fact there's no kedushin? Umaysu yedeha. But first in the Rehav Yarsha, he would inherit her, Umatamala, and he would mitamat to her. If you remember, we said she's like a mace mitzvah, because since he's going to be Yarsha and not her family, the family goes up on her. So even though Kohen can be mitama, she's not a wife, also mace mitzvah, the Kohen can be mitamat to her. We had this good Gemara. Kol shal dava, what's the rule of thumb? Harihiki ishtay l'chol dava. That's what across the board, Rabbi Yeshua, August, Rabbi Eliezer, she's mamish full-fledged wife. Ella, you know what? She doesn't need to get, she yaitz him a miyan. Rebbe, near the Rebbe Eliezer and the Rebbe Yeshua. Usually you pass like Rebbe Yeshua, not like Rebbe Eliezer. Says Rebbe, in this instance, it makes more sense. Rebbe Eliezer is saying that she's a katana across the board. Rebbe Eliezer hishvami daisav b'katana. Rebbe Eliezer is mashva the midas by a katana. That she's a katana. Just she needs miyan. Rebbe Yeshua cholik, and Yeshua makes a chilik. Ma chilik, what's this chilik? Ishta hiti by get. If she's like an ishta l'chol dava, you should need a get. Rabbi Eliezer nami ilavi shtahi mi nami loiti boy. According to Rabbi Eliezer nami, if you're telling she's not a wife, so why do you need mian? Says she should go out with nothing. In other words, you have to have some. There is a relationship over here. You have to end it somewhat. Just can't walk away, unless you marry somebody else. Then you could walk away, right? Okay, very good. Now, Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, I remember Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov said, he said that that anytime the ikka is because of the man, then she is his wife, and if not, she's not. What does that mean? This is a very cryptic statement of Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. Hechi domi akava sheimino ish, the akava sheimino ish. What is the akava that's from a man that she's considered ishtoi, and what's the akava from a not a man that she's not? Amrav Yehuda Mashmuel Tavuli Nase v'Amra. Someone goes ahead to this katana and says, "Marry me." Now she's married to this guy, and someone comes over and says, "Marry me." V'Amra Machmas Ploini Baili, and she says, "Zuhi akava shimani ish." In other words, I can't marry you. I'm married to this guy. So obviously, by saying I'm married to this guy, that's an ikuv that's stopping because of the husband, right? Guys, that's stopping because of the husband. That you need me in for. Machmas b'nei adam sheinu muganim li. In other words, guys, I had to get married, and she looks at him and goes, "Oh, I don't want to marry you." So it has nothing to do with the husband. It has to do with the person going ahead and proposing. She has nothing to do with him. Zuhi akava sheinu min ish. That's not a marriage. You wouldn't need me in over there, according to Eliezer ben Yaakov. Why? Because the reason she's not leaving her husband has nothing to do with the husband. The reason she's not leaving is because she doesn't want to be with this guy. So that's Shmuel's pshat in Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, the Tana of Eliezer ben Yaakov. Abaye Barov and Rav Chanina Barov, they have an other pshat in Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. The Ami Travayu nasan laget zui akava sheimina ish. It gives her a get. That's an akav mina ish, because obviously, if she's taking a get, the man, she wants to stay with the husband. It's the man forcing the issue by asking her to go. For who asa b'kroi by seha, and as a result, she'll be divorcee. She'll be us in his relatives. He'll be us in her relatives. She'll be us in his relatives. Who paslam in akahuna, and since she received the get, she'll be a grusha. Miyana boy, but if she refuses, in other words, the ball's in her court. Suya kava she'ena mina ish. So very good. That's Abaya Bar Oven's pshat. Okay, so you have two pshatim. According to the first pshat, the ikuv would be according to Shmuel. If they ask someone else proposes to her, and she goes, "I can't. I'm married." So obviously that's the stopping because of the husband. If she says, "I'm you. I don't want to marry you," that's then because of her. Second pshat, no, but it depends. What if? It depends if she got a get or not. If it's a get given to her, obviously she wanted to stay with the husband, right? And that's loy. She's his wife. She would have done mion, right? So she took the get. Mion, however, okay. Says the Gemara, hakatani lekamon hama'enes beish hu mutar b'koresel v'hi mutares b'korevav like pasam and kahuna nasan laget hu asa b'koresel yasur b'korevav naguna. Question: how can Abaya Bar Oven say the pshat in Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov is that whether you give a get or not? Guys, look at the next Mishnah. The next Mishnah. So if first we introduce that pshat in the next Mishnah, obviously it can't be the pshat in the first Mishnah. It can't be a pshat in Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. Says no, Prushi Kamafarish. The second Mishnah is explaining the shita of Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. That shita. Okay, so let's go over it one more time. So Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov said, if the ikka is because of her, then him, then it's a get. I'm doing this for you, Dak. And if the ikka is because of her, it's mion. What would that be? The ikka because of him. If someone proposes to her, this is Shmuel's pshat, and she goes, "I'm married," meaning what's stopping her from accepting the proposal? Her husband. Someone proposes to her and goes, "You, I don't want to marry you." Then it's nothing to do with the husband. It has to do with next divorce through get. Obviously, she wants to stay with the husband. Mion, those two pshatim, and ikov because of him, and ikov because of her. Next mission. Hamay'enes beish. If a woman goes ahead and refuses a man, who mutter b'kroi v'seha, he is permitted in her kroivim. No, it's just like they were never married. For he muteres b'kroivav, and she can marry his kroivim. Like paslam and kahuna dak, then won't be passing the kahuna. You're not a gerusha. However, nasan laget, even though she's a katana, she receives the get. Who asa b'kroi v'seha, then he would be asa. He asa b'kreivav, she would be asa. Upaslam in a kahuna. Okay, now here the Gemara gets dicey, and it's a svara that's crying out that I wanted to spend time on, but can't believe it that it didn't show up on. I don't know. I send it out. It usually shows up on the screen. I don't know why it didn't show up on the screen.
She says me and she gets a suit.
What? You should have it on your phone. Now listen to the case, guys, and listen to my problem. Nasan lo get v'chzira. He gives her a get. Good. Yeah, I'm best Hashem. I'm gonna. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's wonderful.
Hold it sideways, and you can.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. Leizer. Leizer. You spelled my name Lazer. Okay, anyway.
It still works.
I know, but it's not. Okay, anyway, it's fine. Says the next case, guys. Listen to this case. Nasan lo get. He gives a get. Good. The hichzira, and now he takes her back. Is that okay? No problem. Yeah. Mian a boy, but she does mian. Good. So now she's free. Finisses la'acher, and she marries somebody else. Finis almelo inis garsha, and now she's this from the second husband. She's a widowed or a divorcee. Can the first husband take her back? He divorced her. Now, normal case of machshir, so if you marry somebody else, no, but they say no backseats, right? Oh, here what he did: divorced, took her back, miyun, married somebody else. Now he died. She's divorced. She's a free agent. Muta lachsaloi.
Makes sense.
You really? Why does it make sense?
Because there was.
Huh?
Again, it's just a stronger meal. It's not a.
Okay, let's see next case. Okay, let's see, Doc. Before you put your foot in your mouth, before you put your foot in the mouth.
He married her a second time. That was with her, and there was no gerushin from the second marriage. It was Mian.
Mian a boy v'echzira. She ended the first marriage by Mian. V'echzira took her back. Nasan lo get, gives her a get. Finisses la'acher. Finis almon and skarsha. Then asur lachsaloi. So you just switched around. You switched around the mian first and then the get. So if the mian first came to get and then came to mian, so she'd be mutter to go back. Why? So you're gonna say that mian undermined the first get. That's what you're gonna say, guys. Listen to the order: get, return, mian, free, gerushin, back. So it must be the mian did what? Undermined the first get. Or else, how in the world can you take it back? Now, Rashi says something that is so strange to me, I don't understand it. Says Rashi, let's see Rashi, guys. Says Rashi, Muteris lachsaloi, afal gav dim loy hichzira. If you didn't take her back, if you did get, you didn't take her back, v'nisas la'acher mitoicha gerushin v'nis almala then asur l'rishain. If you didn't take her back, and you would have gone ahead and married somebody else, she would have married. She wouldn't be able to go back. Good. In other words, that first get is a get vis-a-vis creating a scenario of machshir grushaso. Why? No mian took place. You divorced, and she married somebody else. There's no way you can take her back. Good. Hachi ki echzira here. I feel like ki echziru mian aboy when he took her back and did mian. Asi mian v'goli Allah the katana he, and it revealed that she was a katana. Ubatlu legita. We know she's a katana. What do you mean? You needed to go ahead and do mian to reveal she was a katana. Ubatlu legita v'lehavi b'chazara shniya k'masa grushaso. Why? Because she was never married to the first guy. This my chavrusa understood this morning. I did not understand this at all.
Didn't understand what a get is. That's what Rashi says.
Rashi's saying, no, Rashi's saying that the Hakpada is the Mian. The fact she did Mian shows she was a Katana. So this is, it's crying out for an explanation. Okay, let's go through it again. We'll spend a little time on this. I think it pays. Yeah, like this. Scenario. She's a Katana. She gets a get. She goes ahead and marries somebody else and then gets divorced or widowed. Can she go back to her first husband? No. She's a Katana, gets a get, goes back to the first husband, gets Miyun, goes marry somebody else. He's dead or divorced. Can she go back? Yes. Why? Because that Miyun went ahead and showed she was a Katana, and by showing she was a Katana, it was Mavatal, the first get. So I have a sefer called Shirei Hayoim. It's a sefer from Michal Zilber, Zalzangesund. Michal Zilber is the most famous Maggid Shir Daf Yomi in the world before they invented social media.
LA, right?
No, it's Israel. Okay, so here, listen to this kasha. Sarach Ian says the following: Ketzad hamiyun oikin nesuna rishonim. How could this miyan be oikin the first kedushin? V'ariloi miyan of the kedushin harishonim klal. The first kedushin was al yedei get. There was no miyan there. It was al yedei get, meaning by giving a get, we said it's a get. So how can you tell me the miyan on this later doesn't make any sense? Umasha kosav Rashi she'amiyan megala alaha she'amiyan megala alaha she katana sarach bir v'chilo yadana she katana. We know she was a katana. What does Rashi mean by that? Ella shetiknu lachachamim kedushin ukishmam enes behem I some. We knew she was a katana. That the chachamim went ahead and said there's such a thing called kedushin, and he went ahead and when they do a manis, then it was like a kedushin. Guys, it's a powerful question, right? Yes, it's our question. V'ula yesh lefarish shegeder takonis chachamim bekedushay katana shamru chachamim linag by minig gedoyel legabe kedushin. That the chachamim said that by a katana we can go ahead and be noye kedushin like a gedoyla. Ukfi shematzinu b'divrei harishonim shamru shemaisa katana moya legabe kedushin. The maisa of a katana helps by kedushin. B'divrei Rashba litzara gemara. Shekedushay katana migdal galdi bahada. The kedushin of katana it grows with her. Kosav Rashba shaharezeh kimekadesh la'achal amid. Like when you mekadesh a katana, it's like you mekadesh after 30 days. Shahailu kiddush aseha, where the kedushin works. Vikasha vari ma'isa katana ain't a klum. V'ketzi yichel is kadesh la'achayim. How could she be married after 30 days? The ma'isa of katana is nothing. V'ayim b'koyves ha'aretz from Rabbi Chanan Zatzal. Shekasav leichiach midiri arashba shemaisa cotton ain't a doimel lemaisa shaita. Listen to this beautiful chiluk, guys. The maisa of a cotton is different than the maisa of a person who's a fool. She'ain lei das, who mamish does anything. Ve'ain maseu maisa klal, whatever he does is nothing. Mashein kein cotton maseu maisa, the action's an action. Ela shegzeres hakasav hu she'ain lekotton koyach lifol chalais kinyan. In other words, the action of it is. But it's Xeris HaKasav. At this age, we won't let the Kinyan be chal. So, in other words, by a shaita, what he does is nothing. By a cotton, a katana, the action is an action. It's just that the Torah says we don't accept it for the chalais of the kedushin. Well, if he's yesh leimar, shechachamim naslu katana koyach lifol es kedushin kigdayla. The chachamim, because of worrying, concerned that she may be in a state of hefker without protection, they said, you know what? The Chacham said, we'll accept this Kedusha like Gedoyla. Normally, we don't accept, it's a Maisa, but normally we don't accept it. But in this instance, because of a concern that she may go to Hefkeiris, we will accept the Maisa. That's the Gzeres HaKasav of the Chachamim. V'hani mili when, Kishenoigin legabe Kedushin minig Gedoyla, when she treats Kedushin like a Gedoyla. Ve'enam am enesbay, and she doesn't refuse the Kedushin. Aval kishetimayin binyan Kedushin, when she does do miyan, nizgala, what does she reveal? Shehi ketana, ve'ein kiddusheha kiddushin, The nekru kedushin harishayim.
Nothing.
In other words, until she showed she was a katana, she wasn't. Once she went did me, and why did she show the kedushin? That kedushin. It is beautiful in Rashi. It's beautiful in Rashi. It makes a beautiful svara. Uke'enzem matzina b'meiri shekasav al divrei Gemara lekamon shakatana kenuya ve'ena kenuya. She's acquired and she's not acquired. Klaimar safek kenuya kinyan gomer safek ena kenuya klal upirish ha'meiri shasafiku the imti mayin aloi behind shemti mayin right. Shemti mayin being a kedushin gil sebedaita sheina ruila kedushin. It's a beautiful, beautiful hezbah. Right, beautiful, beautiful hezbollah. Let's go through beautiful hezbollah Rashi. It's a gorgeous hezbollah. In other words, what was that kasha? What was that kasha? We had two kashas. One, how in the world can a mian on a second relationship go ahead and be mevatel kedushin that you're already mevatel all they get? Good. Sveitens, Rashi says she was megala. She was a katana. We knew she was a katana. Says using the kavitz ha'aris Rav Chanan. So it's Masba, Rav Michal, so sein gesund stark, a beautiful hesper, beautiful hesper. Let's be mechalik between the action of a shaita and the action of a cotton or katana. A shaita, there is no action. A shaita is a shaita. A shaita is a monkey. Just like a monkey goes there and does something, monkey see, monkey do. Whatever shaita does, there's no chachma behind it. There's nothing. Nothing. A cotton or katana, there is. It's a human being, that's seichel. And what they do, but at this age, they say, you know what, Xeris Akosiv, it doesn't count. There's no chalois. In lieu of the fact that she is what? A katana, and she has no father, and we're worried about being what? Unprotected. So the Chacham said, you know what? In this instance, we'll let the actions of the katana be like a gedayla. So when is it a gedayla? As long as she's acting like a gedayla, it's a gedayla. So she got married. She got a get. Is she a gedayla? Absolutely. If he marries somebody else, can she go back to her husband? Absolutely not. We have nothing to say that her maisa was maisa of a katana. Now all ahead and she goes back to the husband, and she goes ahead and acts like a katana by doing what? It shows that lemafreya that the kedushin wasn't kedushin either. Why? Because she was a katana all along, and the mela, therefore, she can go back if she marries somebody else. That's beautiful, no? Right, beautiful, beautiful, a beautiful husband. I know. I felt so bad; it wasn't on the screen. What? I can send it. I don't know. Again, whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's just a beautiful. Again, it was kedai time to spend on a beautiful, beautiful husband. What? Yeah, Kavis Aris. It's a classic. Okay, so now we're on the Amid base. This is the rule. Get achamiyun. If there's a get after miyun, asur lachsalai. Right? Well, very good, because there's nothing to tell me she's not a katana. Miyun achaget muteres lachsalai. Why? Because she's a katana. Now, hamaenis beish. She does miyun v'nisis la'acher v'girsha. She marries somebody else and divorced. La'acher u'miyun abai. Then she goes ahead and does miyun. La'acher to another person v'girsha. You know, she does it back and forth a few times. There's a few Gerishin guys and a few Mian guys. Zeh klal. Kol sheyotzi imenu beget asur lachsaloi b'mian muteris lachsaloi. So let's say the first one, guys, was a Mian guy. The second one was a get guy. The third one was a Mian guy, and the fourth guy was a get guy. So 2 and 4 will be out. 1 and 3 will be in. Now you have a shtickle stira, guys. Listen to your stira. You're telling me that why is one is a get guy? She did a Mian in the 2. You're telling me in the first case the mian is mevatel the 1. So once she was mevatel the 1, he should also be mutter. So we have a steer minei obey in the Mishnah. You heard? We have a steer minei obey in the Mishnah. In this case, 1 is a get, 2 is a mian. So right now, so the mian guy is in, this guy's out. But you just told me mian if the get's mevatel the get, so he should be in. Okay. Anyway, we'll see. Alma, what do you see? Asi mian mevatel get. From the first scenario. From the first case, what do you see? That mian comes along, it's mevatel to get. Mian comes along, it's mevatel to get. Urimini, I'll ask you a stira. Hama'enes beish, the sefer of our Mishnah, v'nisas la'acher, v'girsha, la'acher u'mian abba, la'acher v'girsha, The mian muteres lasaboy. Alma lo yasi mian with chavrei umevatel gita di day. The mian that to husband number 2 is not mevatel the get to husband number 1. So l'chayra, and yet after the first case of our Mishnah, there was mevatel. So Amar Rav Yehuda Meshmuel, Tavra, it's broken. Misha shanazu la shanazu. You're right. In other words, whoever learned the first one didn't learn the second. You know, it's the 2 Tanaim in the Mishnah. Tavra, we always want the Mishnah to be consistent, but Tavra, we say Tavra, Misha Shan, it's broken the Mishnah, literally broken. Shavar. Misha shanazu la shanazu. However, I got a base over here. Probably. Amar Rabba, yes, Rabba? Amar Rabba, my kusha. Okay. Says Rabbi, Umay Kusha. Guys, before, you should have all asked me this. Why is it a stira? The first case, it's him to himself. Here, it's him to a friend. It's 2 different people. The first case is what? The mian was done by one man to his get. Over here, it's mian to another person's get. It's 2 different people. Says the Gemara, Umay Kusha. The Dilman mian di day mevatel get di day. His mian can mevatel his get. Mian the chavrei loy mevatel gita di day. But the mian of his that he does to his friend cannot be mevatel his get. Fred the Gemara, umay shna mian the chavrei the loy mevatel gita di day. Why can't the mian of a chavrei be mevatel the get? So guys, listen to this. The hezbollah is beautiful. There really should be no chilik. Once she's Megala, that she's a katana, we shouldn't care whatsoever who it's married to, right? So the Gemara, it fits in beautifully. Like so, no, it's not a geteretz. It's not a geteretz. Once you Megala, you're a katana, right? And once you did me on shine, there's no kedushin, even from somebody else, because you Megala your status. It had nothing to do who gave it to you. It has to do with who you are.
Gemara keeps saying she's mevatel the get. It's really the way we're learning. She's not mevatel the get. She's really mevatel the kedushin. Gemara keeps saying she's mevatel the get.
Yeah, I'm saying that the person who gave a get, because me and getting out of it. So says the Gemara now. Now, what are you worried about? Here's the problem. The first guy gave a get, right? Did she want to end that marriage? The first guy gave a get. Did she want to end that marriage? No. She got the get. He divorced her. She wanted to stay together. Now she marries the second guy. Good. Maybe the first guy had charata. They're very familiar with each other. He could, the first guy gives it a wink. And what will she do? She'll go what? Mian. But so why is she doing it? Only to get back to the. So what did the Chacham say? No backsies. They said no backsies, right? You can't go back. So now I did the makeres b'misoisav. She's maka the remizas, the kritzaisav. The different body language. Azul mishabesh. She'll go in mishabes. Umaisila. So and she'll go ahead and end the marriage and go back to him. So mion di day nami loy levatel gita di day. His mion should not be mevatel get. Because let's say she marries somebody else. The idea the makeres b'misoisav kritzaisav azul mishabesh umaisila. So therefore, what if she married another after it's mion? Also, you should worry. So in other words, your teretz rabba should not make a distinction. If the concern is BMS, she's a katana and all hands off. Gezerah that she's only been mamayin to go back to the first husband. So maybe what are we worried about? He gave her a get. He gave her a mion. She married somebody else. Maybe he's going to go after me and go ahead and make, to get her out. So therefore, the same thing should apply. So therefore what? It should be, you should not be able to go back to your first husband. What's the answer, guys? Listen to the answer. It's a pashut answer. Says the Gemara, the answer is Hakevar Shibsha Ve'ishtabish. Shivsha v'loy shivsha. Guys, look at me. When she got divorced, she wanted to stay together with the guy. Good. Now she goes to a second guy and gives mion. The reason she's giving mion because this guy is giving her winks. Good. What's the next case? Get mion. She's marrying somebody else. This guy's going to get. this guy's going to give it a winks. She didn't want to be with him in the first place. She refused it. She wanted to get out. Therefore, there's nothing to worry about. Therefore, it's fatal. That's different, right? Are you coming back from a get or coming back from a mian? If you're coming out of a mian, I'm not talking about. So that's pshat over here. So therefore, so in other words, so Rav's distinction is a good distinction. Now Rav's distinction is a good distinction. So therefore, Einachinami, you have a steer in the Mishnah. I got a good teretz. It's not a steer. Really, BMS, there's nothing. Everything is gone. Why? She was Megala, she's a katana like Rebel Chanan. And she was Megala, she's a katana, all Kedushin, all gone. You know why she can't go back to the guy with the get? It's preventative, because maybe the guy with the get, who she wanted to stay married to, is going to want her back. Masha'en came where it's the husband, and she gave miyun. She's not going to go back to the guy. So therefore, again, it remains what it is. That she was Megala, she's a katana, there's nothing. It's a beautiful husband. Says the Gemara. So Se'ela ikasha, you want a kasha in our Mishnah? I'll give you a kasha. In other words, I'll give you a kasha. Eli kasha the chavi kasha. Chavi got a kasha. Me and a boy, she does me into him, v'echsira, and he takes her back. Then nasan laget, k'nisas la'acher, k'nis amlan iskarsha asur lachsaloi. Why? Because you got to get. Taima k'nis amlan iskarsha. Ha miana. What happens if she wouldn't have me into the guy, the second husband? Then muteris lachsaloi. Wow, 1 second. Alma asi mi and the chavre umevatel gita di day. Here you have the kasha. Here's a kasha, guys. Watch. The last case. She goes ahead, gives me in. She takes him back and gets a get, and then she marries somebody else, and that somebody else dies or gives her a get. She can't go back to the husband. What happens if she does me into that guy? Then she could go back to the husband. Now the husband gave her a get, so why don't we worry there about the winks? Here we should worry about the winks. Again, the first husband, she was divorced, and now she's marrying somebody else. And the reason she can't go back to the first husband is because the second husband either died or divorced her, so it's Masha Krushaso. But what happens if he would have done Mion? Then she would have been able to go back to the first husband. I want to worry about the winks. Now you have a stira. Okay, so now that's what the Gemara says. Uriminu alias you a stira. Hamanas beish v'nasa l'acher v'girsha l'acher umina ba b'zeh klal kol shiyatz mimena b'get asur l'achsaloi v'miyan muteris l'achsaloi alma l'yasi mi and the chavi mevatel gita today. So from the Mishnah we have what? We have a good question. Rabbi Laza Tavra Misha Shanazu Shanazu. You're right. The Mishnah is broken. This one learned this, then learned this one. Ulama no. Ula only says kigoin shilsha begitin. In other words, even though our Mishnah only said 2, there's really 3 gittin. She did it 3 times. The michse kigedoila. So she appears like a gedoila. Right? Yeah. If you look at the Gilyon Hashas, look at the Gilyon Hashas, the Rabbi Akiva Ega. Kigoin shilsha begitin. After Masnisan Tani Rak Niskasha base Pamim, Yesh Leimar, the Masnisan Lakala Aliba the Rebbe, the Trey Zimni Havi Chazaka, towards the Chazaka, V'ula the Nakat Aliba the Rebbe Shimon Gamliel, Ula said who holds like Shimon Gamliel the Gimel Zimni Havi Chazaka. Ken Kasa B'Tshuvas Bach, Chelik Beis Zimni Gimel. So it works out Chazaka. So it's very geschmack, guys. Since she got divorced 3 times, she revealed she's a Gedola. If she's a Gedola, she can't do it anymore. With our husbands, it's beautiful. Huh?
Without this, how do you understand the Gemara?
Baruch Hashem, but no, it's an eye opener. That's why I said I was very excited. I was very excited to share with you. You know, it was a geschmack as anything. Okay, anyway, so we have a shot that since you did it 3 times, therefore there's no backseas. Mashenkin, if you would have done it once, there'll be backseas. Okay. Now, Montana, who's the Tana? We said Tavra Misha Shanazu Le Shanazu. In other words, there's a Tana who says that Miyun is not Mvatal Get, right? We hold we said that what Miyun is Mvatal Get. There's a Tana who holds Miyun is not Mvatal Get, not Mvatal Get. So who is that Tana? Amrav Yehuda Marav, my dichsiv, meimenu bekesef shasinu. Our waters in kesef we drink. Eitzeinu b'mechir yavo, and our wood it comes in what? It comes for a sale. B'shas sakana. In the time of sakana, the Romans did not let us learn. This vaksha halacha zu, the following halacha. Our sheyotze me rishain beget, umisheni b'miyun, ma'ash shetasel rishain. Our case is miyun mevatel to get or not, that you could take it back. So Sachru Odam Elcha Ba'arba Me'azuz, again, it was the Mamash Sakanas the Fashists. They went ahead and they hired a guy for an exuberant amount of money, 400 zuz. The Shalom is Rabbi Akiva based Asurim. He went to ask Rabbi Akiva based Asurim. Maybe he's Maramis to the window that he had something to sell. Right? But the Asar, and he said it's Asa. That's Rabbi Yehuda Meseira ben Etzivim the Asar. So you have two people who said it's Asa. There you go. There's your two Tanoim guys. Yeah, you have Rav, you have Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yehuda, and so and this is Rav saying this. This is Rav. I mean Yehuda Rav. So they would argue and say that even though there was Mion, it would be us to take back, not like our Mishnah. So Tavra, Misha Shanazu, Shanazu. This is the other opinion. Rabbi Shmuel Yossi, Amar Rabbi Yossi was listen. We don't need this. It's muta. Why? Listen, Karis Sitarta, Mion with Mater and Eshes Ish. Guys, Mion with Mater and Eshes Ish. And this is Karis. It really is. It's for Eden Masra. Lisa Lav like Kolshkin. This is Mashal Kushasai. Certainly, if it's going to matter what, and it's the Karis, certainly it's going to matter what. Which is a lot. So in other words, Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Yossi is disagreeing with Rabbi Yehuda Meseir and Rabbi, and he's agreeing with the Tana of our Mishnah. Kol Shekain. So Baram, nonetheless, Kach Shalu. In other words, a digression. You want to know what the question they asked? This is the question. Kach Shalu. Outside, guys, a man can marry Midrabanan, Midaraisa. You cannot marry the wife of your father's brother. Your father's brother has a wife, Midaraisa, that's your aunt, you can't marry. Your mother's sister you could marry, but we guys are mother's sister at the father. Good now. Right? She so she was married to. She was your aunt. She was your aunt, and she then went and she's a shnia, right? You can't marry her. She's married to, right, the brother of your mother. She married to your mother's brother. V'nisas, now he dies. V'nisas achiv me'aviv, and now she marries your paternal brother. Now your paternal brother had nothing to, I guess it would be different mothers. Good. Umes, and now he dies. And falling in front of him is a shnia, is his aunt from his mother. What's the din about doing miyan in that marriage that would have gone ahead and taken off the shniya? Hashta, after misa, v'takrinul in the suin kamoi, getting rid of the nesuin of the uncle, v'tisyabin, and do yibum. That's the shaila that came. In other words, what's the shaila? Yesh miyan lacha misa b'moka mitzvah. In a place of yibum, where we go ahead and say that there's miyan lacha misa, guys. If me and Achamisa were going to take off the shnia, we're going to take off the fact that she was married to your aunt, that she's not your aunt anymore. She's your brother's wife. So b'makam mitzvah, will we say miyon to go ahead and take off the issur of shnia, or not? That was the question at hand. So Sachu Shnei Bnei Adam B'Arba Me'asuz, they went ahead and they hired two people for 400 zuz. Ubo v'shalu es Rabbi Akiva b'beis Asurim. When they came to ask Rabbi Akiva b'beis Asurim, v'asar, and Rabbi Yehuda said ben Etzivim v'asar. The same thing. I'm Rabbi Yitzchak by Shian u'moida Rav, and Rav says u'moida Rav shemuteres l'achiv shel zeh shenesru alav. What did Rav say? Even though Rav said that miyan is can't be mavatal get, right? But the brothers you could marry. You don't say it's gerushas achiv. In other words, you give a get. Good. Then you do a miyah. And we said that the miyah is not mavatal to get. Could she marry the brothers? Or it's gerushas achiv. So in other words, moida Rav, that linear brother is not considered gerushas achiv. So, moida Rav is Rav shemuteres l'achiv shel zeh shenesru alav. Pshita. Who knew the makeres merizos of krisaisa? The reason why, again, what's the reason why miyan doesn't help by get? Is because maybe he's going to go ahead and give the wink. Avalachiv loy, but brothers not. So in other words, there's no svara to say that they shouldn't be able to marry the brothers. So now the tema ligs are high or too high. If you let them at the brothers, you may can't marry him. Kamash malon. Vikad the the other way. I'm Ritzah Rashian. Kashem shesru loy kachasul la'achiv. Just like you asa to him, you asa to the brothers. So you don't know the winks. So make a gesera that if we allow him to marry the brothers, we come to marry him. Okay.